And as spring breakers and those on vacation travel to the First Coast, the city of Fernandina Beach is officially issuing tickets for parking violations. With 3 full days in the books, the city says it's issued 105 tickets for a total of $5,250. Our Zach Wilcox is joining us live tonight from Center Street in Fernandina Beach. And Zach, the start of enforcement lined up with spring break in Nassau County.
Yeah, Anthony, when I landed in Fernandina Beach, the first thing that I noticed around lunchtime on a spring break day was that it was hard to find a parking spot to pay for. It's cleared out a little bit now, but then I noticed the steady stream of folks coming up to these signs and scanning to try and pay, and then I started noticing all of the tickets popping up around me. At one point, 4 different cars around my car had tickets on the windshield, and the other thing that I noticed was just about everyone that I talked with was from out of town. So this was the first time they were hearing about paid parking as they were paying for it.
We've been coming here since we were kids. This has always been our spot. Family trips when we were little. Now we kind of take it over the helm and we're coming down here every year.
Mason Harrell noticed one big change for this particular spring break trip to his usual spot in Fernandina Beach.
We actually just pulled in and we started noticing the signs, and that was a bit of a shock.
Harrell had no idea he'd have to pay to park in downtown. As a visitor, he missed the news about paid parking getting approved in January and the grace period that just ended.
They just caught us coming in.
City leaders approved the paid parking to help pay for infrastructure upgrades. The city reports the gross revenue from the first week of the grace period in February was about $100,000. Roughly $80,000 from the first wave of annual permits and $20,000 from hourly parking, although it costs about $27,000 a month to run the program. Now we're starting to see what citation revenue could look like, with 105 citations issued in the first 3 days for a little over $5,000.
Watching some of the elderly people try to figure out how to pay has been a struggle, and we end up fielding a lot of the questions as those people come into our stores.
As a local business owner, Jeff Fries has adamantly opposed paid parking since the beginning and says he's heard nothing but complaints so far.
I would say we're 100%. There's not anybody we've had come in that is for it. They despise it. A lot of people, unfortunately, said this will be their last trip to Fernandina, which is sad.
Harrell says he'll still spend his annual vacation in Fernandina Beach, but he may not spend quite as much of it in downtown.
We have multiple vehicles coming in. It's always going to be a hassle getting down here, especially paid parking now.
And I should point out that residents and non-residents have an opportunity to avoid these things altogether. That's that residents can get a free parking pass for up to 4 hours in most of the street spots and 8 hours in these lots. And then non-residents can pay $124 for an annual pass. And one business owner did mention that they're always busy during spring break, so they're a little anxious to see what the impact will be next week when it's not spring break and the enforcement is going on. In Fernandina Beach, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.